Okay guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Creative Web with Phillips, and I've decided to create a series, a very long series, where I'll be teaching you web development from scratch. That's from beginner to professional level. So if you know you want to follow up with this tutorial, you don't want to miss out, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and give me feedback in the comment section. So guys, I will be teaching you, as I said, I will be teaching you web development from scratch. That's from beginning to advanced level. And when we talk about web development is divided into front end and back end. You have the front end, you have the back end. Then let me start with the front end. The front end in a web development is you creating your interface. That is your user interface, your UI. You creating your user interface. That's everything your user is seeing, the interactivity with the user, and you use languages such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You also have some framework whereby you can use Bootstrap for your user interface. Then you can also go with some JavaScript library. That's React.js, we have the Vue.js, and we also have the Angular. So those are what you can use to create your user interface. But for the sake of this series, I will only be dealing with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So we'll be using these three to make our user interface. Then I will also move to Bootstrap for our user interface. So I will also be using the Bootstrap also for our user interface. So those are what I will be using for the front end of our website. And I can also teach us jQuery. So depending on how the tutorial goes, so I can also mention jQuery. And jQuery is a JavaScript library which help us in writing JavaScript code faster. So it's just like summarizing JavaScript code into short lines. So when we get there, you are going to understand more better. So now we also have the back end. As I mentioned earlier, we have the front end and we have the back end. So when I talk about the back end, I mean this is the application part, making your website to be able to perform some certain function. Your website not performing function is the back end part of your website. And I use PHP, I use Laravel. So for this series, I'll be using PHP to teach us PHP. We'll be using PHP as our backend language. Then we'll be using the MySQL database. So we'll be learning the SQL and PHP. So they work hand in hand together in creating an application. So when we talk about the backend, I'm talking about you. For example, you create a login form. Now, you creating the login form, your user seeing the login form, the buttons at the front end. But now, your backend, when I now talk about backend, is when your user now click on submit button, then it redirect them to, it submit their data to a database, cross-check it. You know, I'm using a login form as example. You use a login form. Your UI, what the user is saying is your front end. Then the back end part of your login form now is when the user fills in the form and click on submit. It's the information now going to check in a database if the user is registered. So all these are being controlled by what? A backend languages. And apart from PHP, we also have different backend languages. You can use your Python. In fact, you can use your Ruby on Rails. You can use your PHP, your Laravel. You can also use Node.js. So there are lots and lots of back-end languages. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will be talking about the PHP. So for you not to miss out of anything in this tutorial, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification button so that whenever I post new video in this series, you are going to be notified by YouTube. So the first one I will be talking about is HTML. And what is HTML? HTML is known as hypertext markup language. HTML, and this is the building block of any website. It's called hypertext markup language, and it is used to structure a web page and its content. Now, everything you are seeing is being governed by HTML on a website. Everything you are seeing, the buttons, the text, the heading, the images, they are being shown to you by your HTML code. So HTML is the basic structure of is the code that is used to structure a web page and its content. The content in your web page is being shown to you by HTML. Then the structure of your web page is being governed by HTML. And don't forget, HTML is called hypertext markup language. So now, how do we run our HTML code? Because we are starting up with HTML. So how do we run our HTML code? Now, to run your HTML code is very easy. Now, all you need is a browser, whether Chrome, Firefox, Explorer, any browser at all you are using can actually help you run your code, your HTML code. So, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will be making use of Google Chrome. So for the sake of this tutorial, so I'll be using Google Chrome. So once you have a browser on your system, then the next thing is to get a text editor. And a text editor is basically used to code. Is used to write your code. So there are different text editor out there that help us to code. So they actually help us to code faster. So we have different text editor. We have the Notepad++, we have the Sublime Text, then we have Atom, we also have Visual Studio Code. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using the Sublime Text more. I'll be using the Sublime Text more often. I can also use the Visual Studio Code, but let me show you how to get your text editors. So the first one is Sublime Text, as I said. Now, Sublime Text, to get Sublime Text, just come to your browser and type in search Sublime Text. So this is the spelling Sublime Text. So go to their official website, the first one over here. So just click on Sublime Text. So their official website is being opened for me. So you just download for Windows. If you are using Mac, you click on this to download for Mac. Then if you are using Linux, you click on this to download for Linux. So I'm using Windows, so I have this installed. All you just need to do is download. So it is not up to 10 MB or 20 MB. So just download it. Then this is it over here. So this is my Sublime Text. So this is Sublime Text. This is how it will look like. So this is a Sublime Text. So now, so just download for Windows, then follow the installation process to install it. You don't really need you don't actually need, what will I say, you don't actually need to do a lot of setup. Just follow the installation setup, then you are good to go. Then the second one is Visual Studio Code. So the second one is Visual Studio Code. So if you want to use the Visual Studio Code, just type in VS Code or Visual Studio Code in your Chrome search. Then just click on the first one also. Then you download for Windows. So you just click on download for Windows. It automatically gets your OS. So download for Windows. Then follow the installation process to install it. I also have Visual Studio Code over here. So this is my Visual Studio Code. So I have it installed. So I won't be downloading that. Then the next one, actually another one, I talked about the Sublime, the Notepad++. So you can, if you wish to use the Notepad++, you can actually click on download Notepad++. So just click on the first one, then just click on this first one, and then you download. This is the latest one, I guess. So just click on it to download it. Then another text editor we have right is Atom. So but take note, I will be using more of Sublime Text and Visual Studio Code, so you can just download just these two. So but if you wish to explore the other Atom text editor, so if you wish to actually explore the remaining text editor we have out there, so you are good to go. So I'll be using more of this. So once you've download and installed your text editor, so you just open your text editor. Let's create our first code right here. So let's create our first code. So I'll just close up these ones. Oh no. So just open your text editor. So once you open your text editor, now this is how your text editor looks like. So now let's create a folder for our project. So I'll create a new folder on my desktop. So I'll just create it as web series, right? So I will just create this folder here. So this is where I will store all my files for this series. So now then open your Sublime Text. Then to create a new file, you can come over here, then click on new file, or you can just press your Control and End key, Control and End. So a new file is being created for us. So to save this file, you can come to File also, then click on Save, or you can press Control and S to save. Control S to save. So I will save this on my desktop. Then I will pick web series. Then I will just name this index.html. So make sure you have the all being chosen over here. You have the all being chosen over here, all files. So I'll just name this index.html. So this means this is an HTML file. So now to create my first HTML code, I'll just write less than HTML. Just follow me. HTML, then HTML. Then I have this suggestion. So this is why a text editor is good. That's one of the abilities of a text editor that the regular Notepad. So I have a suggestion over here. So if I should just press enter, so this is the structure of an HTML code, So this is the structure. So I have the structure. So instead of me to start writing this structure by myself, I have this structure be created for me. So once this is out, I'll just save. I'll save. Then I can open my web series. Then I can open this using Chrome. So I'll just open this. So this is actually my code over here. This is the result, because this is an empty code. I've not written anything tangible inside this code. That's why I have an empty file over here. So if I should just come to this body and write some rubbish, then save, then I reload. So can you see I have this over here? So now I have this over here. So let's go over this. So let's go over this code one by one. Now this is declaring your document type, which is HTML. The first line of code, that's line 1, is declaring the document type, and the document type is HTML. Then here over here, this is called tags. Everything you are seeing over here are called tags. So I have the opening tag. This is an opening tag. Then I have the closing tag. So the difference between an opening tag and a closing tag is this slash over here. So now this, I told you, the line 1 is actually telling us the document type. Then you have then everything in your website will be wrapped inside the HTML tag. This is the opening tag of HTML. Then at the end over here, you have the closing HTML tag. Then inside this head, you link in some external files, and you also write some code regarding to your website. So now the first code I have here is the title. The first code I have here is the title. Now when we talk about the title, if I should open my website, the title, if I should come to this website over here, can you see there's a title over here? Sublime Text dash text editing blah blah blah, Visual Studio Code. Where my mouse is, Visual Studio Code. Then here you have download slash notepad plus plus. So but if you should look at mine is index.html. So to change this, you write your code. Do you get? You write your title inside this title tag. So if I should write website development episode 1, then I save this. Once I reload this, can you see my title is being saved as website development episode 1. So that is this is actually this is my title. This is how I change the title of my website. So the second thing I will be mentioning in this video, is the icon beside my title. So I can just get an image. Let me just take HTML as a case study. HTML, I can just come to images to download a logo for HTML. So this is HTML logo. So if I should come over here and I download if I should download this image, so let me just put it in my web series, save. Then I think my image is being downloaded. So my image is downloaded. So the next, how do I change the icon over here? So to change the icon over here, I will just come here, then link, then I will just remove this. I will remove this type. Then I will just name it as rel should be icon. Exactly inside my heading tag. Notice this is inside my heading tag. So now this is rel, then icon, then href, that is where my image is. Then I have the download. Now notice any image you will use in your website should always be inside your main folder, should always be inside the folder where your code is. So I can just create new. So every images I'll be using, I will just save them in this folder, images. But note, this images folder is inside my work folder. That is the web series folder. So I can just put in my download inside, move it inside my images. Can you see? It's inside my images actually. So what I can do now is to link it. So this will now be, the images folder is inside my main folder. So I will just use images slash, because I have it in a folder and the folder is images, then I'll put a slash, then I'll write download dot png. Now that's the file type. This is the name of the file, download, then this dot png is the file type. So let me just, because you have different image type, you have the JPEG, JPG, you have the SVG, and so on and so forth. So this is a PNG file. The name over here is download. Then if I should right click, then click on properties, you can actually see the file type. This is PNG file, that's .png. That's why I actually added .png. So let me just reload my website. Whoa, can you see my icon is changed? Do you see that? So that's how you change the icon in your website. That's how you change the icon in your website. So what I want to show you something. If I should rename this image, to download HTML, or let me just site icon. So I'll just copy this name. So if I should reload this, can you see it's gone? So what I need to do is change the change the image name over here, highlight, just change it to site icon, then save, then actually I will reload. Then can you see the site icon is back? So this is just an introductory video, and this is where I'll be stopping in this series so that I won't bore you guys. So if you know you really love what I'm going to show you and what I've just started showing you, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on the notification button so that when I post the next video, you'll be notified by YouTube. See you in the next video.